Welcome student to our lecture 3rd. Today we were going to see the principle of covariance, special relativity to general relativity. Before that, just recall the Einstein theory of special relativity that we have seen in the last lecture. In that, Einstein determined that the law of physics are the same for all non-accelerating observer and that speed of light in vacuum was independent of the motion of all observer, that is, speed of light is constant. We are seeing this in the last lecture. After studying the special relativity, Einstein developed the general relativity. That Einstein then spent 10 years trying to include acceleration in the theory and published his theory of general relativity in 1915. So we start with our special relativity theory and how it goes to the general relativity. Einstein's theory of relativity is based on the idea of the relativity of all kind of motion. Accordingly, absolute motion of body has no meaning and hence cannot be measured. We can measure only the relative motion of the body. Here the absolute motion of body means has no meaning in the sense that the no meaning if you were traveling in a metro train. Okay, we are taking example here, the example of metro train in a straight line and has no hurdles in between. Okay, metro train is traveling straight line and since it has no hurdles and it is traveling with a uniform velocity and the windows are such that you cannot see outside the train. Okay, so there is no way you can tell at what speed you are moving or you feel you are at a rest at all. Okay, so in metro train you feel that you are not moving, you are at a stationary. So in that case we say that we cannot calculate the speed of the metro train. Okay, so as we cannot calculate the speed of metro train, that is we cannot feel the motion and hence we cannot measure it. So absolute motion is not measured, we can measure only the relative motion of the body. Therefore special relativity deals with a uniform translatory motion and as we see it does not take the gravitation, that is it is devoid of gravitation that we see in the last lecture. So special relativity has no gravitation. But we know that the planets that revolve around the sun has something or a moon that is revolving around the earth, that it is the moon does not fall towards the earth because of the gravitational force, right? So there is a gravitation, as you know. So hence the special relativity and the general theory of relativity has this difference that the special relativity hence accommodate the fundamental idea of relativity of all kind of motion and gravitation, and special relativity is not sufficient because it does not hold the gravitation. Okay, so we have to go for its expansion, that is we require the gravitation. So we call the generalization of special relativity is general theory of relativity. The general theory of relativity has two postulates. The first one is the principle of covariance and the second one is the principle of equivalence. So we see in this lecture the first postulate, that is about the principle of covariance. The principle of covariance deals with the assumption that the laws of physics can be expressed in the form independent of the coordinate system. If all the laws of physics are expressed in the form of mathematics, they are independent of the coordinate system, that is as the coordinate system change the laws of physics cannot change, that is they remain invariant. We call this assumption as the principle of covariance. And we know that the laws of physics are expressed in the law of mathematics, and the language of mathematics use the reference frame, that is a coordinate system we call. And you know about that the laws of physics, until it cannot be expressed as a mathematics, they are not taken to be true. Okay, that is if we have given the theory in physics, then we have the description, that is mathematical equations are also there present. So every physics law is expressed in terms of mathematical equation. Hence hence the laws of physics are expressed in coordinates, that is in the form of mathematical. But the coordinates play a role of code or markers, and the system will in no way influence or affect the physical laws. That is, if the system changes, then it does not affect the law. That is, it cannot be changed as the inertial frame of reference changes, right? Therefore, through a physical law, though physical law make use of coordinate system, it should not depend on a particular system. That is, if we take the physical law in one coordinate, then it cannot be depend only on that coordinate system. Okay, that is, it does not depend on the reference frame. Accordingly, the mathematical form of physical law must have the same form in all coordinate system. As here says that the physical law does not depend on particular system, that is, if we change the coordinate system, then the mathematical form remains same in all coordinate system. And another reason to consider this, that the laws of physics should remain same in every coordinate system, is that law to be another reason for the form of the law to be same in different system is that if we suppose physical law has different forms in different coordinates, then out of this form we prefer the simplest one. That is, if there are different forms, then we take the simplest one because which is easier. But this brings out the absolute frame of reference. Accordingly, a coordinate system that gives a simple form of the law being a privileged system. That is, we give that coordinate system a more advantages, that is, which is more important to us. So this gives rise to absolute frame of reference. That is, in particular frame of reference, we define the law very importantly, and in another frame of reference, we are taking the less important. So this goes to be the absolute frame of reference. So which is not acceptable in the theory of relativity. That is, we take the every coordinate system has a same importance, and their physical law should be remain same, and it does not depend on the coordinate system. So for this reason, we choose the formalism which does not change the mathematical form of the law under general coordinate transformation, that is a covariant formalism. That is, we choose the coordinate system which does not change the mathematical form of the law under general coordinate transformation, and that coordinate transformation we take the covariant formalism. So we adopt the group of all continuous differentiable coordinate transformation with a non-vanishing Jacobian to develop general relativity. That is, we have to choose the coordinate system in which the continuity, differentiability and non-vanishing Jacobian, that is independent of the solution of the equation, are present. A tensor formalism, so we choose the tensor that we have studied in a Riemannian geometry. So we use that formalism or that coordinate system. A tensor formalism is a covariant, that is tensor equation retain their form in different coordinate system. Therefore, the laws of physics must be expressed in the tensorial equation. So we have to choose the coordinate system which is in a tensorial form and where the laws of physics remain invariant, and we express the laws of physics in that coordinate system, that is in a tensor coordinate system or tensor formalism. This is about the covariance principle, that says that the laws of physics should remain the laws of physics should remain invariant as the frame of reference is, that is, we choose the particular coordinate system. So it has a two implication. number one is space-time of general relativity, and number second is test particle trajectory. So the space-time of general relativity, space-time is x, y, z, comma t. Okay, that is coordinate, space coordinate and a time coordinate. We taken both together. So the geometry of spatial relativity is given by ds square equals to minus dx square minus dy square minus dz square plus c square dt square. Here from the Riemannian geometry, G11 is minus 1, G22 is minus 1, G33 is minus 1 and G44 is c square. That is all are constant. Okay, where x, y, z are spatial Cartesian coordinates and t is the time coordinate, and the line element in 1 is invariant under general coordinate transformation. That is, if we take the transformation of coordinates, then this remains invariant, that is, it is not changed the form. And the generalization of 1, that is the Riemannian geometry form. Okay, Riemannian metric form, ds square equals to gmn dxm dxn, where m comma n varies from 1, 2, 3, 4, and we call this gmn as a metric tensor which is symmetric, and this form is also invariant in nature. That is, if we change the coordinate, we take the transformation of coordinate, then it is not changed. Its form is look similar. Okay. So the first implication of the principle of covariance is that in general relativity, the space-time geometry is provided by the pseudo-Riemannian metric by the equation second, as we see here. Okay. So first implication is about the space-time, and the space-time of the space-time of general relativity is given by or provided by the pseudo-Riemannian metric. And the second implication is about the test particle trajectory. The test particle trajectory, in that the trajectory means what? The trajectory is nothing but the path which followed by the test particle. And the test, we see the meaning of the test particle by the live example. Okay, so if you saw the movie Mission Mangal, in that they were sending the Mangalyaan to Mars, right, to test is there a life or a water is present on Mars or not. And so Mangalyaan is at a Mangalyaan that they are sending, we call this as a test particle because it is testing whether the water or minerals are present, on what kind of amount of there is present. So they are testing there, so we call the Mangalyaan as a test particle. In that, Mangalyaan takes the orbit. Also you see that when they are sending, so it goes to perigee, and then it after it send to the Earth gravitational field, okay, out of the Earth gravitational field, and then it revolves in the orbit. So it takes the path. The orbit is called as a trajectory, where it takes the path, and test particle we are taking the satellite, or for example here we are giving the Mangalyaan. Okay, so if you got the test particle, that is meaning of the test particle here, and trajectory is nothing but the path. So the trajectory, that is path of the test particle in spatial relativity, is given by the, for the free particle, it is given by d square xr by ds square equals to 0, where r is running from 1, 2, 3, 4, that is in space-time coordinate. And this equation 3 is also invariant with respect to general transformation, and hence it cannot be taken as a law of motion in general relativity. So is not invariant. Equation third is not invariant with respect to general transformation. Hence it cannot be taken as a law of motion in general relativity. So the generalization of this equation, that is equation of test particle or equation, is given by the equation of geodesic. That is equation of geodesic that you have seen in the Riemannian geometry is d2xr by ds square plus gamma rmn dxm by ds dxn by ds equals to 0, where m comma n are varying from 1 to 3, 4. Okay. So in general relativity, equation 4 is the equation for free particle and also for the light rays, for which we take ds equals to 0. So this equation 4 is the equation of the motion of free particle, and it is also the equation of the light when ds equals to 0. This second implication of covariance, this is the second equation or second implication of covariance of principle. So we will end this lecture here. In the second postulate we have the principle of equivalence that we see in the next lecture. So thank you.